What's going on, guys? We are Tottenham TV here, and the Premier League is back with a bang. Tottenham play Manchester United on Friday night. I can't believe the Premier League is back after a nearly 3-month hiatus due to the pandemic, and I can't wait to get back stuck in the action. I've missed Premier League football so much. This is also a massive game for Spurs in the race for potential Champions League space for next season. Obviously, there are so many variables in this game going into it. We don't know how players are going to react to being out for so long. We don't know how the fitness levels are going to be. We don't know if players are going to pick up where they left off. We don't know if Tottenham's got some new tactics implemented, or maybe even Man United do. But we can do the best we can here. We're going to go look for a bit of a tactical preview in this game, see where the weaknesses lie in both teams, and see where the game might be won in this one. Obviously, we don't know for sure what the lineup's going to be, but this is my predicted lineup for Manchester United at the moment. It could be Pogba coming in last minute, but the rumours at the moment is Pogba isn't going to start this game. So I've gone for De Gea, Wan-Bissaka right back, Luke Shaw left back, Maguire, Lindelof in the centre with the midfield three, McTominay, Fernandes and Fred, with a front three of Rashford, Martial and Daniel James. Now, Man United have had a very good record in big games before the break, so it wouldn't be surprising to me if they come into this game quite confident of getting a result. They've beaten Man City twice. They've taken Liverpool to a draw. They beat us back at Old Trafford back in November. They're not fearing anyone. If I go to a predicted Spurs lineup, I'm predicting something like this with a 4-2-3-1. Obviously, we know Dele Alli's suspended. Tanganga's got a suspected fracture. Lo Celso's doubtful, but I'm going to put him in just for the time being. But he could easily come out for Ndombele. But the 4-2-3-1 looks a bit like this. Potentially also Bergwijn coming in for Lucas Moura, but at the moment I've put Moura in just because Lucas Moura has started every game that Jose Mourinho has managed so far, so I'm going to put him at the start for the time being. Don't be surprised if Steven Bergwijn comes in though, but it's not too much of a difference in quality there. At the moment I've got Sissoko and Winks in the central midfield. Obviously we've got options with Jedson, Eric Dyer, potentially Ndombele as well, but I've gone with that three. I think we need one of Lo Celso and Ndombele definitely starting in this game. If we go to how we look like in possession when Spurs are attacking, looks a bit like this, with the back three, Davis, Sanchez and Toby, most likely. But those front players actually look quite creative. Aurier and Son providing width with Lo Celso, Moura and Kane providing the firepower up front. Obviously Son is very likely to join the attack, but he's going to stay a bit wider, I feel, on the left-hand side. Looking at those tactical lineups, how they match up, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough for Spurs to get a really positive result in this game. I think United are really well set up to play on the counter-attack, and they've shown that in these big games against Man City and against Liverpool and against us. The big area for sure when Man United are going to capitalise is behind our right back up area, where Aurier likes to stride forward, leaving a lot of space in behind. Doesn't really track his runners as well when he's staying back, which is a problem, which is what led to Man United taking the lead back at Old Trafford back in November. Making a run into the side of the box, Aurier not tracking the run, and Rashford having a free shot, which Gazaniga probably should have saved. But nevertheless, Rashford had a free shot. Rashford was absolutely sensational in the game back in November, and we really got to keep a good eye on him. But with Man United playing on the counter-attack, with also Bruno Fernandes, don't you forget, who's added to the lineup, who wasn't in the game in November. Probably adding that late comer in the field, that player who's going to make those late runs in the box and who's going to be a threat from outside the box. When Spurs have possession and they move to a back three, it's going to leave a lot of space on the wings, and with Man United's pace with Rashford, Daniel James and Martial, and even if you take Daniel James out, maybe you may put Lingard or Greenwood, they still have a lot of pace there, and that's something to be really worried about from a Spurs point of view. I feel like Spurs could really struggle if they were to lose possession, and Man United are going to attack on the counter-attack with Rashford and Martial running in behind the back three of Toby and Sanchez. If Tottenham don't get back in position in time, if Aurier is slow to get back, which he can be at times, it could be a real problem. With the game in November, clearly the big weak point was that area on the right back. Obviously Sissoko can cover if Aurier doesn't get back in time, but that can also leave us exposed in the centre, with Bruno Fernandes being left with a bit more space than we would like to when he can be such a threat. That is going to be a problem. that is going to be a problem for us. So we need to, I don't know how we make sure that we don't get hit on the counter. We have to be extra careful in possession, not give away sloppy passes like we used to. Maybe get, maybe even more important than someone like Winks is in the centre midfield there, because we need to be able to have possession of the football and not be sloppy in possession, losing silly passes in the central midfield and allowing Manchester United the chance to counter-attack, because with McTominay and with Fred, they've got two players here who are very, very good at disrupting play, and also not only are they good at disrupting play, especially Fred, who's especially good at getting interceptions. He's had a very underrated season. They are very good on the ball as well. So when they get the ball, they're going to be able to pick out a pass. They're going to be able to find Rashford and Martial in behind or on the counter attack. So that's something to really worry about. We're going to have to make sure we make our possession count, make sure we get the likes of Winks and Lo Celso on the ball, so they're able to find Son and Moura and Kane going forward, and hopefully we'll be able to punish the Man United back four. Obviously they got Wan-Bissaka and Shaw, Wan-Bissaka being one of the best one-on-one defenders in the league, which he was shown when he came up against Raheem Sterling more than once. When he's left one-on-one with these defenders, he's so hard to get past. He's such a good tackler. So that's why it's so important we get these overloads, especially in possession. When we get that 3-4-3, if we get Lo Celso and Heung-min Son in and around that area, we can occupy Wan-Bissaka. Obviously they could have McTominay and Fred coming back to cover, but hopefully that leaves space open for our other central midfield options, which is why I might be tempted to drop one of Winks into Sissoko and get Ndombele in there, just because if we have space we need to make it count, and Ndombele is more likely to make that space count than Winks or Sissoko. But from a counter-attacking point of view, I can understand why Mourinho might go for Winks and Sissoko in their central midfield to try and negate the consequences of losing possession. It's so important to create those overloads on the left, because if we leave Son one-on-one with Wan-Bissaka, it's going to be very, very difficult for Son to get the best of him. We need to have someone else buzzing around like a Lo Celso. It would have been Dele Alli, but he's suspended. But we need Lo Celso buzzing around the area to kind of occupy Wan-Bissaka's mind, to leave more space either for Son, or if Son's drawn, or if Wan-Bissaka's drawn more into Son, it can leave a bit of space for Lo Celso to be able to pick the lock. We need Son to get involved with the game more than he did back in November. He was shackled out the game. He was kept very quiet, and he needs to be making those runs inside. He can't, if we left too far wide and Wan-Bissaka is able to deal with him, he could become a bit anonymous. He needs to be getting a bit more in central areas, so he becomes a bit more of a goal threat than he was back in November. And I feel like sometimes if Son's left too far out wide, he becomes a bit isolated and not involved with the game. That's where I feel sometimes, although if there's space out there, he can thrive. I feel like with a defender like Wan-Bissaka in there, he needs to be getting in between Wan-Bissaka and Lindelof to try and penetrate that space over there, to try and get in on goal, maybe a bit more of an inside forward. But with this formation, I feel like he could be left too far out wide, which is a bit of a worry. What could prove dividends is the overloads back on the right-hand side, because obviously Luke Shaw isn't the strongest defensively, and also I'm not sure what side Maguire and Lindelof are going to play. But with Luke Shaw, if we create overloads of Aurier and Lucas Moura, if Aurier stays out wide, which he can get forward very well, we know how well he can get forward. If he can occupy Luke Shaw's position, that leaves a lot of space for Lucas Moura, who has a lot of pace, to get in behind the defence and potentially hurt them a lot. I think Moura's pace is where I think Lucas Moura could really be the player which could hurt, or Steven Bergwijn, could be either or, but he could really be the player that could really hurt Man United in this game. Obviously their focus is a lot going to be on Harry Kane. The two centre-backs, or at least one of the centre-backs, is definitely going to be occupied with him. So if Lucas Moura can be buzzing around, potentially, or we know what a good dribbler he is, if he can take one of the defenders out of the game, that could be where Spurs can really pay dividends going forward, I feel. We need Lo Celso and one of the centre midfields to really be active in the final third. I think Lo Celso is a big one. If not Lo Celso, if Lo Celso is injured, then it has to be Ndombele. But in this 3-4-3 formation, I really feel that we have the tools to really hurt Man United, because obviously they have those central midfield options who like to defend and a very good distribution, but if Aurier and Moura can cause havoc down their left-hand side, that can leave a lot of space in the centre, either for Harry Kane or for Lucas Moura to get in behind. Those are the areas I really feel Spurs can hurt Man United. However, once Man United get on the ball, and if they can transition the ball very quickly to the forwards, they're going to have, not only are they going to have pace going forward, but they're also going to outnumber us in the centre because we might be slow to get back into a 4-2-3-1 formation. We might still be in that 3-4-3 formation and could be outnumbered in the central midfield, which could be an issue because Winks and Sissoko, they're decent defensively, but they're not the strongest. So they're going to be on their game. They have to be on their game to pick up Bruno Fernandes in that central midfield area. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. And if Man United get the ball forward very quickly, there's going to be a lot of space, especially behind Aurier, to exploit. And also Ben Davies isn't the quickest. So if Daniel James can get a run at him, then that could be a way for Man United to pay dividends down the wings. We're going to have to get in formation very, very quickly. But on the flip side, we're going to have Davis, Sanchez and Toby back. And if Martial is isolated and Rashford doesn't get forward quick enough, then it could prove dividends for Spurs. And if James and Rashford stay too high up and allow Aurier forward and Son a free rein, that could be a big problem for Man United. And it could cause overload for Spurs on the wide areas, especially if Aurier, Son, Lo Celso and Moura occupying the wide areas. That could really, or the wide areas / the mid centre areas, like the half spaces just outside the penalty area, that could really be a problem for Man United. Although they do have the central midfield options in McTominay and Fred, who are quite strong defensively, so they could probably feel confident that they had those spaces covered. But wide areas, I think, is where this game is won, in my opinion. If Man United counter-attack quick enough, getting those spaces in behind Aurier, and just ahead of Davis, that could prove dividends for them. And for Spurs, if Aurier can, if Rashford and Daniel James don't track back, then it could be a big problem for them. If Aurier is allowed a free rein, he can be good defensively, and if Luke Shaw's concentrated on Aurier, Lucas Moura could steal in and have something to say. That's how I see the game going. It's going to be tough. If I was predicting the game, I think it would probably be a draw. I think both teams at the moment, Man United probably going this game with the can't lose attitude. They're probably happy with the draw. Tottenham need the win, so they're probably going to be on the front foot. But I feel like Man United could be good for at least a goal on the counter attack with this formation. Unless Tottenham are looking at something different. But Spurs, I feel, if they dominate possession and if Man United are tracking back and Martial's left isolated, I think we could see Tottenham have a good spell of possession, and possibly, if the fullbacks are occupied, could hurt them in behind Moura and Lo Celso in the half spaces. But I think I'm going to go for a high scoring draw, 2-2. I'm hoping for a lot of goals, but because of the pandemic going on, we don't know how the fitness levels of the players, if it's going to take them time to get used to the playing conditions. Obviously, there's going to be no fans in the stadium. There might be a bit of a lack of energy, but Tottenham are reportedly going to have fans like a Zoom call on the big screen, so Tottenham will be able to see their fans watching the game. So hopefully, maybe that'll provide a bit more of a boost. And there's going to be flags around the stadium to try and create some sort of an atmosphere. But it's going to be difficult to generate the energy they usually would be with the crowd in the stadium. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm going to go for a draw. I think that's how it's going to play out. I think both teams are strong. I think Man United are set up for this game. But hopefully Tottenham have enough in their locker to hurt Man United going the other way. But let us know in the comments below, how do you think this game is going to go? Hopefully you enjoyed this tactical preview. Let us know if you'd like to see more of this. Let us know in the comments below how you think the game is going to go. Like and subscribe if you like our content. And as always, come on you Spurs.